So I think a theme for this video is gonna be mending things the easy way. Today we are tackling some items that have been waiting to be fixed for quite a while, all different times. Some a month, some a year, but I'm hoping at the end of this day I will have 4 items that I feel I can wear easily and enjoyably, and maybe I'll have some new skills for mending some other items. So today we're mending. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're not, then welcome to you too. I'm Christina Amanita, and I love all things thrifty and crafty and nature-y. And if you like any of that, feel free to stick around, watch this video, and like and subscribe if you like it. So let's get into it and see our contenders for today. First item is some cool hand-me-down pants that I got from my partner. They really just need adjustment of the waistband. It needs to be a little bit tighter so it can hold my phone in the pocket and stay up and be playful and fun. Next up is these green corduroy pants. I love these. I actually upcycled these so that they'd have a higher waist last year, but they need a new patch to cover up these eyes and also a edited crotch so that it's a little cleaner in there. The last pair of pants is my favorite, absolute favorite jeans. They just keep falling apart. They keep getting holes, and I've got to patch another one in the butt this time. This one's kind of major. It's going to look a little different on the patch. And the last one is this crochet vest that I made last winter. I've only worn it twice, I think, and it's just a little bit too high. I love my stuff really high-waisted, but this is just still not long enough to hit the waist of my pants for some reason. So we're starting today with these rosy pants. So first I measured the waist to see how big it was, and I measured my waist. And I ignored the calculations and went for like 1 1/4 inches, I think, on each side, which totals to almost 3 inches on each side total. And then luckily I tried it on because it was way too tight. And so I just unpinned it and then repinned it at 3/4 of an inch instead, which would make 1.5 inches total on each side. And I think that was plenty to get the length that I needed. So I just pinned that. So we're just gonna sew a line on the inside here, probably a straight stitch, but we'll save that for later. Cords. So like I said, I want to replace this eye patch. Ironically, I replaced it with a different eye patch, but I think this one's more me. It's got colors that match my colors more, so I just decided I was going to baste around the whole circle to start. So I pinned it in place a little bit, and then I went to sit down on my couch and start basting. And after about 3 stitches, I realized that this was going to be too much, so maybe I should just iron the patch instead of basting it. So first I just went to go iron it. I hadn't watched any videos on this or anything, but I figured it needed a fabric in between to kind of keep the nice patch. And then after ironing it a little bit the wrong way, so after looking it up, I realized that I should have left the iron down in one spot for much longer than I did. And then also, after doing it on the outside, flip it around inside out and do it on the inside for about as long, maybe like 30 to 40 seconds. And then it was good to dry out and cool. All right, time for my favorite jeans. These jeans just keep falling apart at the seams because I think just the denim is kind of fragile. So you can see this one's pretty big. It's in a weird spot, so it's gonna look funky with a patch, I think. So we're just gonna try some different options out. So I tried a bunch of different little scraps that I had lying around just to see if it would look weird or normal, and I decided on a couple to just give a go, pin down, and try out. Right, so now we're just doing the test, the check, and it didn't look all that weird, but you know, it was kind of funky. So I decided to try another patch to give it another go. So we pinned that one down. And we tried on the pants again to see if it was any better. And unfortunately, I have to tell you, it was not. If these were, had more patches on the butt, maybe, but I want to start with just the one for now. So I think it was just a little funky. So here I am testing it, but it's a no. I just decided that I was going to use a patch on the inside instead and try to go stealth mode rather than visible mending. So I've got this denim patch from my grandma. I put it on the inside. And just thinking about how best to do this. So I looked it up. So here I am just checking the interwebs. Oh, a guest. So there's a couple different ways to do this, but the way to do it without using any interfacing or webbing or whatever you want to call it was just basically sewing that patch down and maybe hand sewing some fancy stitches, but we'll see. Okay, so after refeeling, I am ready to get back into this patch. So I put it down to see how it would look on the outside, make sure it matches, and then I pinned it inside out on the inside. And then I attempted to sew around. Because it's on the pocket, I wanted to just use the machine for the outside, and then on the pocket I was going to hand sew it. We'll see what happens with that. Let's find a good thread first. So just a few stitches into sewing this down, my sewing machine said, no thank you. It said, I'm done for the day. So if you recognize this problem and know what it is, feel free to let me know. But so I just tried a bunch of things, fiddled around on some scrap fabric like I always do, and eventually it worked itself out like it usually does. So we came back to it and was just going gently on a nice straight line. So I sewed all around it and checked out whether it was visible or not, and it seemed it was not really visible at all. Luckily, the thread was perfect, and the spot is like kind of inconspicuous if it's done right. So I decided to just sew over the pocket because it's only on the side of the pocket. It's much easier and quicker, and that is the theme for this video. Quick and easy mending that works. Looks pretty good, honestly. So now just a quick start on the crochet vest. Just gonna steam it and see what happens. See whether that is enough to make it a little looser and more relaxed for me to wear it. So I spent a good time really steaming it up as much as I could and kind of stretching it a little bit on the bottom. I don't want it to be any wider, but I would love for it to be a little bit longer. All right, friends, it's time for the mid-video update because I wasn't chatty this morning because my partner was sleeping and we've both been sick, so I didn't want to disrupt him. So, a little update. All of these are going so well. I got a start on all 4 of the projects and I'm feeling good about them. The first project here is going to be, I think, simpler than I think. I still haven't sewed the lines, but I measured and marked off where I'm going to sew the lines, and that is the next thing that I'm doing just to see if it's that easy. So I think a theme for this video is going to be mending things the easy way, because for each of these things I started out with kind of trying to do it the longer way and realized that functionally for me what I really needed was the quick way. So for example, I switched gears on the cords and I just ironed on the patch and it worked pretty well. And there's 2 benefits to this. 1, it was a lot quicker. Obviously, it was going to take me forever to sew around this. I guess there's 3. 2, it looks cleaner this way. And 3, I can kind of like experience it, wear it in a little bit and see how it is. And it's a little lower pressure because I didn't do all of that sewing work. I just ironed it on. So if it does like start peeling or anything and I decide I want to keep it, I will just sew around it later. So for now, we're doing the easy version of all of these mending things. So why not? iron on a patch. So that's done, and then I've got to do the crotch on these, and I'm thinking about doing the waistband. The waistband is like pretty well tailored in here. Like it's sewn together in so many different spots. So I'm not sure if it's going to be possible, but I was thinking about doing the taper on the legs, but I think I decided that this fabric is just kind of a little too thick for that. It's very thick corduroy. And then the jeans, same thing. Like I planned to put on like a fancy patch, but like I decided that it looked better if there was no patch on the outside and there was just a patch on the inside for like stabilizing. And I did around the pant, but not over the pocket, because you can't, maybe you can. I don't know how to machine sew into that pocket without sewing it shut. But I decided that it's just the side of the pocket is totally fine. And also the stitches are almost not visible. And where they are visible, I think I might just like put a little embroidery on them. So now the only thing left to do on here is to like clean up the rip and then sew it shut. I think I'm gonna hand sew that part. And while I was doing that, I discovered another hole in these pants. So that's added to the list, and I think I'll probably do it the same way that I did this, with just a piece of nice hardy thick denim, and then sew, and that'll be even easier because there's because I might not even sew up the hole once it's patched. We'll see. And then the last thing was the vest, which I just steamed, and I'm waiting to see if I need to do another step. So starting out with the easiest step, trying it, seeing if it works. Some of these feel a little too easy, but I think a lot of us have things in our closets and our wardrobes and our lives that could be fixed or enhanced in like such a super easy way, and we just mentally have like a little bit of a block. Well, maybe I don't want to speak for you, but I mentally have like a block there. So steaming it, while very simple and too easy to ignore, is something that I normally would ignore. So the theme here is easy, quick mending that is worth your time and will enhance hopefully your wardrobe a little bit. So we've got a couple more patches to do. We've got a waistband to bring in, hopefully the easy way, and if not, we'll check back and I'll try the hard way. And then the vest, which maybe is already done, who knows. So thanks for being here and sticking with me. Hope you're enjoying this video. If you like it, feel free to like and subscribe so you can see some of my other videos. If you like this format of video with some quick, easy mending that you can kind of do along with me, let me know and I'll make more of these, because there's lots of things that need mending in my life that I leave in piles. So let's get back to this pile and see if we can finish it up today. All right, so just to start here, I'm not even gonna replace my bobbin thread or anything. I'm just gonna check out this line, see if it even works, see if my machine can even handle the thickness of this waistband. Hopefully my machine doesn't break again. We're cooking. It's almost good, almost good. Part on the waistband looks okay. We're gonna do the other side and try it on. Okay, they look decent. Let's try them on. These are kind of lounge pants anyway, so. Okay, wow, that worked perfectly. The size is literally perfect. So, I'm just gonna clean up these stitches a little bit, tie some ends. And then I'm not going to do what they often recommend in videos like this, where you cut off the part, the excess. If I ever gain weight or give these to someone else, or want to come back and put in a new waistband, like if this waistband gets old and gross, then I'm gonna want to have that fabric there and the option to like have it, you know, to take out these stitches and to have that original fabric there. So I just don't think that in this case it makes sense to cut off that excess fabric, because then you can't you can't undo it. And I like to do things that I can easily undo. So let's clean this up a little bit and then we're on to the next project and you'll see this one in the final try-on reveal. All right, so I'm struggling with this crotch hole situation. Ah, why? I think the problem is this denim. It's just not the best denim, which is why it's so comfortable. So I'm thinking about putting just like a big patch because there's no holes on the other sides, but like here I can see where it's gonna be a hole very soon. So I'll do it these two corners, and then I'll just go on the edge here instead of doing a bunch over here. I don't think it needs it. Maybe it does. Crap. All right, so we're gonna just cover as much as we can with this patch, I guess, and hopefully it doesn't get weirdly bunchy in the crotch at this weird corner seam. If you know a better way to do this, please let me know. I'm gonna give it a try. All right, I was worried about it doing something weird in the crotch area, but it looks pretty much the same as it usually does. It doesn't feel weird. And then the back doesn't look weird at all. Okay, all we need to do is cover up this reap. And luckily it's right along the pocket line, so maybe it'll be pretty invisible. So let's see what's next. So I tried pinning these pants a few different ways for the legs to see if I want to taper them a little bit. And I think it would be cool because they are pretty wide-legged, but you don't really notice it because it's so straight all the way down. So I think that a little bit of a taper would make it look more balloony without having to add anything to the leg width. Whew, out of breath. So this is so easy to just try out and unpick. So I'm just gonna do a straight stitch on a diagonal and we'll take off, looks like 2 inch, 3 inches maybe each. So like 6 inches total. That's a lot. But we'll just try it out and see if it looks good. And if not, we can easily unpick it and maybe then we'll be done with this one because again, I want these to be quick and easy and I want to finish them all today. So let's see. Not a bad straight line. It's not very straight, but it's not a bad line. All right, let's try them on. All right, what do you think? I think it does actually look better with the tapered leg. It's a little bit funny right on where the taper meets the original seam, so I'm gonna iron it and see if that'll make it better, but I think I'm gonna do this to the other leg. And like I said in the previous thing, I'm not gonna cut off the excess fabric like you're supposed to, just in case I want to undo it. Really, I think a big thing about like doing these easy flips is to not take extra steps that make it irreversible. So I guess what I'm trying to say is these easy, quick flips or mending or whatever you want to call it, try to do them in a way that's reversible, at least at first, before you commit. All right, so this time I actually lined up with the previous leg, trying to get it as accurate as possible. And I also used some chalk to mark a straight line with a ruler even. And so then I sewed it down along that line with a nice quick straight stitch. So pro tip with joining a new seam with an old seam, on the first try it didn't go that well. You could see it was pretty puckered on the outside, but on the second try it looked a lot better, and I think it's because when I got to the end here, before I met the seam, the original seam, I went straight along the side here a little bit and then off to the side, which I learned in a video for something. I don't remember what. Okay, so here's what I'm talking about. I unstitched a little bit back to here. So I'm gonna put it down. We're gonna get our reverse just to secure. Okay, and as we get close here, we're not gonna go straight for the side. We're gonna start kind of curving. We're gonna get long, and then we're gonna go right on the side of this seam. I still haven't hit it yet. For a little bit, and then off. This is, I think it was pleating or darts that I learned this for, that you go you go parallel first, and then you go off the edge. So let's see if that helped. Yes, so much better here. It's not puckered, and with a little iron, it's gonna look pretty good. So now I just need to clean up all of the ends and cut everything off, and these are done, I believe. My next step for the crochet vest was to get it nice and wet and try stretching it out that way, kind of like blocking, but without any blocks or pins or anything. So that was my next step. I got it just a little bit damp. I didn't want to wet it too much because it's so thick. It'll take so long to dry, and it's so cold here. And then I stretched it out a little bit. So we'll see if it worked in the end. Okay, back to the jeans. It's time to do some hand sewing. So I cleaned up the pocket a little bit. Everything is secure with the patch on the back. I chose that same thread that matched really well with the fabric, and I just kind of sewed it up really roughly by hand. And although it's not that pretty, it's not all that noticeable. It's right in the line of the pocket seam, and I think it'll do for now. So maybe eventually I'll add some visible mending, but for now, it's gonna do the job, and I can actually wear these again. Yay! Alrighty, that is a wrap. It is the next day, but I finished everything yesterday. So I finished 4 items in one day. I felt really good about each of these items. The one that was kind of least successful was the vest, but I found that styling it and just kind of experimenting with it was all of the push that I really needed to figure out how to wear it. So I'm glad that I put it in this video, even though I didn't really mend it at all. I loved making this video. It was really fun for me to tackle some of my stash, and I think that sometimes when we talk about tackling our stash, we talk about like that's the goal, is to get rid of some of the stash, but really the goal here is to make the things that I already own wearable. So I think that we succeeded in that today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you had fun mending with me. I hope maybe you learned a little bit about how you can maybe mend some of your clothes. If you like this video, Please like and subscribe and come back for another one. And I'll see you in the next one. Let me know down in the comments which item was your favorite and what kind of mending you'll be doing this winter.